Hello artist, welcome to another video, and today I have a super fun one for you, so you are welcome to join me and paint along or just watch and enjoy. If you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is Irit. I'm a watercolor and mixed media artist based in Austria, and on my channel I share my artsy adventures. Now, I've been really into painting florals lately because I've created a whole course about it, and I will tell you more about that later in the video. But I really wanted, just instead of, talking about the course, I just wanted to also share just a fun process video, simple start to finish process video, so you can also enjoy and be inspired whether you join my course or not. So I'm starting with actually a smaller size. I found that this is a really kind of fun size to fill the entire page with a rather simple floral. I've mostly been working on larger pieces of paper, mostly 30 by 40 centimeters. And this one I think is 20 on 20 square. So it's actually quite different, but it's just, because it's smaller, it kind of fills up fast. And I like this very tight, somewhat crowded feeling at the moment, like that composition. So it's working well for me. Now, I'm using a book that I've shared in previous videos, I think. I also did a complete flip through of it in my monthly membership, the Joy Art Club. And it's just like a really great book. I'll put a link below if you want to check it out. It's quite small and it's just jam-packed with these floral arrangements, which if you love painting flowers, I just find it to be a really great reference. Now, I never like, my problem with using reference images is that I never like the entire image. Or, if I do like it, I still want my piece to be more me, unless, I copied this or I interpreted or painted whatever this reference photo. So you see me flipping around, and that's what I like to do. I kind of create these imaginary collages where I pick and choose different elements from different photos. And that means that the final image is more my own. And that's what I'm doing here. So I'm just like looking for flowers that speak to me or color combinations that speak to me. And that's how this came together. Now, this is actually watercolor paper because I will be using watercolors, but I love starting even my watercolor work with a sketch. And I love starting it with a colorful sketch because I feel that allows me to have a flow later in my process. I have a very cluttered, messy brain. I don't know if you can relate. Leave me a comment if you understand what I'm talking about. And I get into, especially when I'm painting, I get into like analysis paralysis. So I want to make as many choices and decisions as I can in the early stages of my paintings, meaning in those first minutes. And that allows me, if I do that correctly, that allows me to keep on painting and exploring, basically in a kind of paint by numbers sort of way when I actually get to the part of watercolors. So this is the reason that I like these colorful sketches. It took me a long time to figure that out. Because not a lot of people do that, I've noticed. So that's the strategy and technique that works for me. And, it's not that I can't add anything later, but it just makes everything for me more fun and just adds to the flow. So sorry about my head getting in the way there. I'll try to avoid that. But yeah, I'm kind of done with my sketch. And now I get to add some watercolors. So I have in my palette, you can see my palette has pans and it has wells. And I know I get questions about it all the time. So this was available years ago. And I think right now it's very hard to find it. But you can find like similar palettes from Magello, where you can, like, you have that larger mixing area and you could stick some pans in there. So if you wanted to create something similar to this, I like it because usually in the pans I have like my ride or die go-to colors that I've been using for years. I use all the time and I use a lot of. And then in the pans, I kind of audition colors and see if they work for me. So that's why I like this combination. And yeah, it works really well for me. And I can tweak my palette very easily. I don't have to, like empty the wells to switch some colors. Of course, if the color is in the well, I will have to empty it. But again, those are colors that I've just been using for years and I love them. And yeah, I don't really see myself not using them. So it's fine. So here I go. I'm slowly filling my floral with color. And another thing that I noticed that I really love in my own work is that colors don't repeat themselves in multiple areas in my paintings. So if I'm painting a floral, I really prefer to have like an orange flower, a yellow flower, a pink flower, and like one of each. So that's another theme in my work. I call it kind of color zones. And then within those zones, I do a lot of tone on tone, also with different mediums. And again, that's what works for me. And it took me years to kind of develop these things, and it's always ever changing. But that's one of my favorite things about, being able to paint every day. So before we go on with that painting, I want to take a short break to tell you about my course. It's called Floral Playground, and it is my most vibrant, intuitive watercolor course yet. There's also mixed media there. It's not just watercolor. And it is designed for artists who want to loosen up, stop overthinking, and just enjoy the process of painting. You know how it's not about being precise or technical. It's about finding your flow, letting color lead, and feeling good while you paint. Inside the course, I will guide you through my favorite floral techniques, from playful wax pastel sketches to vibrant color zones and intuitive painting strategies that work beautifully even on distracted or low energy days. You'll learn how to start without second guessing, how to keep your paintings interesting without making them chaotic, and how to finish a piece you actually love, all in a way that suits real messy brains like ours. Now, this is a live run, and I'm starting it on July 1st. I will be in the classroom supporting you and answering your questions, and we will have a lovely community. I don't know when I will do a live run again, and I really want it to be a very small, intimate group. Also, the special early bird price is just 79 euros. The full price of the course is 149 euros. I promise you, it will not be cheaper ever. I probably will do some discounts in the future, but it will never cost less than this early bird price. Now, of course, if you are a Joy Art Club member, you also get another discount on top of that. So if you're ready to paint more joyfully, freely, and colorfully, and you love painting florals, I invite you to join us. We start July 1st, and registration will close July 7th, so we can do this, first live run just with that one group and not have like people join in the middle. Okay. That's about that. Now let's get back into this floral. So you can see again, I'm adding colors. I'm creating those color zones that I love. I do want to say one thing I noticed that I didn't like about the composition here is that I feel like the stalks in the vase are just like really too uniformed. They're like stamped in. The shape is similar. The distances between each stalk are similar. So that's like a note to myself. I mean, obviously I could go over it somehow and fix it. I can't really do that just with watercolors, but I can fix it. I probably won't because this was just like a quick, fun painting. But it is something that I noticed, and it's just more interesting to create asymmetrical compositions. So, note to self and note to you, do as I say, don't do as I do. That was a little bit of a mistake, I think. I should have thought more about it. But yeah. Oh, another thing that I noticed I really enjoy is, besides doing these like color zones, I really like now doing different kinds of flowers. For a long time, and I still do that sometimes, it's not that I don't do that, but for a long time I really painted only kind of rose-like flowers. My flowers are not super realistic. I really prefer a more abstract, suggestive, painterly style. But I did focus on kind of these rose-like shapes, like very round flowers. And I've discovered that it's just more interesting to vary it. So, and not just with color, right? So I could do those rose-like flowers in different colors, and that is also fun. But I found also that there are just like shapes that I prefer painting for different colors, if that makes sense. So I really like doing like a sunflower type of flower when I'm using yellows and oranges. It's just like such a happy flower, and it's fun to paint. You can see that on the top right corner, something. It's like very similar to a sunflower. And then I can do kind of a peony type of flower. And then, of course, roses. So I try to kind of vary the shapes and not just the colors. Another thing that I've been really enjoying is doing some sort of like pattern on my, let's say, tabletop area. Of course, you could do that also in the background. This is actually a really, really fun lesson that we have in the Floral Playground, which is working with collage and patterns. It is so effective and so fun and so easy. If you never got along with collage, I feel you. It's not something that I can say I have enjoyed. It's something that I repeatedly tried with very little success, but I cracked the code. I mean, I found like a system that works so well also if you want to use collage. So that's like one of the lessons. Yeah, I want to talk about this painting because I don't want this whole video to be like a commercial to my course. It's really not, but I am excited about it. And if I do say so myself, I think there are things there that I haven't seen in any other floral painting course, and I've taken a lot of them, a lot of them. Okay. I love working in mixed media. Stepping kind of beyond that purist watercolor world really brought me so much joy in my painting and in my creative process, because I just couldn't do all the things I wanted to do just with watercolors. And so I don't see a reason to limit myself. And you can see me here adding details with pencils, and now I'm even going in with oil pastels. Now, oil pastels are a pain in the tush because they never dry. But actually, I also have oil sticks, which are oil paint in stick form. So you could use that, and those will dry after a few days. But yeah, oh, you could also use wax pastels like I did for my initial sketch. That also works really well. They go on top of watercolors for the most part, and that's not a problem. But there's something about oil pastels. They're just like the texture, the opacity, the painterly feel of them that I really, really enjoy. And I love actually mixing all of these materials together because it gives you a different look and a different feel. And I feel that it allows me to be less kind of detail oriented, which is not really a part I enjoy. But I don't need to if I'm using really interesting materials that have a variety of line quality, of texture, of opacity, and it all kind of just like sings together, I feel, when I mix all of them. The transparent, translucent, watery, beautiful puddles of watercolors with sketchy lines from wax pastels and pencils, and then adding some like painterly, thicker layers with oil pastels. Now, of course, you could go in also with acrylic paint, and I've done that. It's just finding that right mix of materials, I feel, is really exciting when you have all of these like materials serving the purpose of creating a painting you enjoy. That makes me very happy. You can see also in this painting, I actually added a couple of apples. I have now a very little setup of still life in my studio. And again, that goes back into that idea of creating those imaginary collages, because yes, I used a reference photo for some of the elements here, but then I also added a couple of apples that I had lying around. Now, obviously, I could have used like a reference photo for apples, or you could use your imagination, but that's what I want to show you. Like, I want to show you, you should never be limited by, I don't know, your setup or your lack of, like, if you don't have the possibility to have a still life setup, or if you're using a reference photo. All of these things are just a starting point. And if you start something and you see you're not enjoying, then change it, then look for something else. Think about what is the element that would excite you to add to your painting. And, look for that. So don't feel like you have to stay with like painting things you're not excited about. So this is it. This is kind of coming to an end. I'm just like adding some details here and there. This was very quick. It is almost real time. I just sped it up a teeny tiny bit so that the video won't be too long for you, but still long enough to enjoy, because I do think it's a very kind of rich process with a lot of takeaway ideas and inspiration. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you will join us for this live run of the Floral Playground. This live run just gives me the possibility and opportunity to be more present in the community now. At some point, this course will also be available for like self-paced, but if you do want more guidance and for sure a cheaper price, then I hope you will join us now. And I will leave all the details below. I hope to see you there. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you want to see more process videos and, what subjects you want me to explore. I love posting these videos and not just, product reviews, which are fun, but I love actually using my art supplies as much as I love talking about them also. So I wish you a wonderful day. I hope you get to paint some fun florals or still life. And thanks for watching.